This is Anne-Marie Leake, Vice President of Communications for ePayResources. Welcome to the Payment Space. Welcome to the Payment Space, ePayResources podcast. And today I am delighted to welcome Eugene Harmon, one of ePayResources members. Eugene is team lead over operations for payments at Langley Federal Credit Union. And Angelica Larrañaga is our director of payments education here at ePayResources. So welcome to both of you.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hi, Anne-Marie. Thank you so much for inviting us to do your podcast.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited because today we are talking specifically about NCP training, National Check Professional Exam preparation, and how both of you all have been involved in that. You both have earned the NCP credential and what that training provided to you and the value that you saw in it. So, Eugene, I will start by asking you, why did you want to pursue the National Check Professional Certification?
I would say it started with my job changing our check vendor. So in that process, we had to learn everything from scratch. And in learning those processes, I was like, there has to be more than what I'm learning. I'm seeing the end result of it, but I want to know what happens before that part. So one of my coworkers, she was taking the AAP class. And so during that class, she asked one of the instructors, hey, do they have something like this for checking? They suggested the NCP. And then from there, we did a little bit of research on it. And it was something that I was interested in, so I signed up for it.
Wonderful. And at what point did you become aware that ePayResources had training resources to help you prepare for the exam?
When we were doing research right before I signed up, we seen those classes that were available. We looked at the cost of them. We looked at the time frame that it would take, and then how many other people had taken the exam and what their thoughts on it were. We were just looking at reviews for it. And so in that process, that's when we seen all the classes available.
So once you got into the preparation program, what were the most valuable elements of that preparation to you? And maybe you can just kind of describe for us all the steps you went through in preparing for the exam.
Okay. Preparing for the exam, what I liked most about preparing for it was the flashcards. I love the flashcards, only because it made me feel like I would take like 15 flashcards and I would give myself about a week to learn those flashcards. And then it was information that I was retaining. And then people would come up to me from my job, ask me those 15. And then the next week, I would take those 15 and then learn a new 15. But remembering the beginning 15. And just that step by itself just gave me confidence. I'm like, hey, this is something I'm learning. This is something I can do. The next thing was the tests that were provided to us. We got to take just pre-exam questions. It weren't the test questions, but gave you some type of, I would say, information or guide saying this is what the questions may be like, different scenarios that you would come across. So I love taking the pre-exams as much as possible. I probably did those every 2 weeks just to grade and give myself a grade on, hey, this is what you need to work on. This is what you need to ask more for when you're in the classes. And then the other thing was the community, can't think of the word, but in ePayResources, there's a community forum on there and you can ask each other questions. That was very helpful because sometimes you have a question, you may not know how to word it, but somebody else has the same question. You're like, oh, that's what I wanted to say. They worded it properly. So then you have your answer for your question. So those were the biggest things for me.
Wonderful. So Angelica, from your perspective as the leader of the NCP preparation program at ePayResources, share with us your insight into how that preparation program is structured and how you interact with our members who are taking those courses.
All of our accreditation programs we're trying to keep them structured pretty much the same. The NCP program is fortunate in that we have 2 series available to participants. The first is a 6-month series that begins in October, and our courses, our sessions meet every 2 weeks. And then in January, we start series 2, and those participants meet on a weekly basis. So I think the offering of 2 webinar series really helps our members to decide which time frame works for them. There is a lot involved in the program. So for me personally, I loved the 6-month series because it gave me time to be at the live session and then do all of the additional reading and studying and everything that comes along with preparing for the exam. And then others find it easier to do the 3 months. They don't have as much time to dedicate to the program. So we do have those offerings that are available to each of our participants. We have the NCP exam prep community, which Eugene was just talking about. It is an online forum, much like our member community, but this is specific to those participants that have enrolled in the NCP program for the year. We put out all of the resources that they may need, including the PowerPoint deck, supplemental materials like Regulation E, Reg CC, Uniform Commercial Code, so that they're at their fingertips. They don't have to go searching for all of this. And then we make available in the community our recordings of our sessions. So whether you are enrolled in Series 1 or Series 2, you will always have access to both recordings. And I really like that because I think there's value in hearing a presentation, same presentation, given by 2 separate speakers. Series 2 is done with other payments associations, other partners of ECHO come together, and we choose a session that we want to lead for Series 2. So you're going to hear voices from other payments associations as well. And I just think that that's a really great value, that I can go in and listen to someone from ePay and learn from them, and then listen to Series 2 and hear it from another person's point of view. They might explain things differently. They may have other questions throughout the presentation that maybe weren't asked in the other sessions. So I think that there's real value. And that's one of the things that I did. I was there for the live sessions, and then I did go back and listen to the recordings multiple times because there's a lot to know in checks, which I didn't know when I first started this. So I did go back and listen to those recordings multiple times. And I think those are invaluable resources.
So Eugene shared that flashcards and the online community were of particular value to him. Are you hearing that from other participants as well? What other aspects of the training course are you hearing are of particular value?
So we offer what is called the Power Package, the NCP Power Package, and that is the one that I always recommend to participants because it not only comes with the webinar series and access to the community, but it comes with other publications that are helpful for studying. You also get access to a 2-day review at the end of the webinar series. And so with some of the publications that come with that power package included are a Check Pro, which is an online study tool, and it has 2 components to it. Eugene, I'm pretty sure you use this as well, but there's a game component to it. So you get to answer questions from the blueprint categories. You're given multiple choice options, and then if you get it correct, you move on to the next one. If you get it wrong, it'll give you a little explanation and give you an opportunity to answer the question again. The other side of it is a practice test, and our NCP exam is 120 questions. You are given 3 hours to do it, and on this practice test on Check Pro, you can choose 25, 50, 75, or 100 questions, and the timing changes a little bit, but they're multiple choice questions. It's like the format of the NCP exam in that it's timed. There are multiple choice questions, and you can mark your answers, go back and look at them if you have time. I had Check Pro open on my desktop every day. And when I stepped away from my computer, I would come back and I would try and do a few questions on the game. And then, it wasn't until months into my training that I actually felt confident enough to work on the test, the practice test portion. But that was one of my favorite tools. And like Eugene, I'm a huge fan of the flashcards as well. I carried them with me everywhere that I went. My poor husband would help me with them, and he was like, I don't know what this means. That's okay. Just read it to me and help me with that. So I really, really liked those. And the recordings of the webinars, those I went back and rewatched time and time again. So I really liked those.
Thank you. Eugene, were you able to set aside time each day to do a little bit of prep, or did you look at it once a week? What was your approach to that?
Oh no, if it wasn't every day, it was close to every day. I know for sure once a week wouldn't cut it. I know I have a great support system at my job. So what they allowed me to do was set aside time during the day to go into a conference room just to focus on studying, whether it was 30 minutes or whether it was 1 hour. What I also did was on the days that we had our classes, I would schedule 30 minutes before the class just to review what we were going over, and then 30 minutes after the class just to look at my notes and think of any questions I may have for the next time that I didn't think of answering during the class. So I tried to utilize my time as much as possible to study. I can't stress that enough. Studying is important. Don't wait till the end to think you're going to try to learn it all. Please study. It is very important.
That is excellent advice. So the exam itself, describe for us what that is like the day that you're taking the exam. Where are you? What do you do? I think sometimes there's mystery just around that process itself that people appreciate having some insight into.
Exam day, truthfully, my head was all over the place. I didn't know how. I was excited that it was exam day. I was nervous that it was exam day. My stomach was hurting because I knew I had 120 questions to answer and then the time limit that was involved in it. So I remember exam day, I got to the test location probably an hour before, and I sat in my car with the flashcard. I'm like, I'm just going to sit in here, read some for 10 minutes, take a break. Read some for 10 minutes, take a break. So finally I was like, okay, it's time to go in. When you walk in, there's the exam proctor that's there. They give you this piece of paper, and the print on it, the font on it is probably like 6, and it's front and back. So you have to read this page front and back before you even get to the test. So I'm like, okay, I read everything. I locked everything up. They search you to make sure you're not bringing in anything you're not supposed to. Then when it's time to take the test, another 10 or 15 minutes of just instructions that you have to read before the test. My brain is still all over the place. I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm ready to start. Finally, I get to question 1 through 10. I honestly thought they gave me the wrong test. I was like, I know none of this. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I stopped what I was doing. I'm like, okay, just sit back, relax. You know this information. I had flagged the ones I really wasn't sure on. I answered them, but I flagged them just in case. And then all of a sudden, it just like clicked. The questions that they were answering, okay, I studied for this. I know this. They taught me this. And I was just able to go through. And then I caught myself looking at the time at one point during the test. I think I was like on question like 70, and I only had like an hour and 10 minutes left. So then I started getting nervous again. I was like, okay, Eugene, don't get nervous. You got this. So I was able to finish with like 30 minutes left, but then I had to go back and look at all the questions that I flagged. I didn't change any answers, but I had time enough to go back and look at it. So during the time going back, I was really like undecided. Should I change it? Should I not? Go with your gut. They always told us in the class, your first answer is most likely the right answer. I was able to use like a multiple choice situation where I knew 2 answers weren't right. So then 2 could be right. So go with your gut. So that's what I did for each of them. It was just a nervous day all around. I was excited. It was mainly excited, but nerves all at the same time.
Wow, that is quite an experience. I'm having flashbacks to the exams that I took decades ago. Eugene, what year did you take the NCP exam?
2021. I believe. Can't remember. I think it was 21. Was it, Angelica, was it 21?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
I think, Eugene, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you registered for 2020 and then COVID happened?
Yes.
Yes,
that did. And that was a big decision whether to take the exam later on that year or do it the next year. So I decided to do it the next year just because I didn't know what life was going to be like. So I wanted to make sure I was fully prepared for the test. And it was great that option was given to us as well, because then it gave me more time to study, more time to ask questions, to go back and look at the recordings that we had did previously. So when I was able to take the class the following year, I was more prepared for it.
Angelica, is that an option every year that at some point you can determine you want to defer it, or was that specific to COVID?
COVID was a little bit different because our exam happens in late April, early May. So flashback to 2020, that was the start of the pandemic. And so they ended up canceling that testing window. It was when I started here at ePay as well. So I don't know too much about it, but I think they opened it up later, gave them the option. Every year there is the opportunity to defer. If you choose to do so, there's additional fees associated with it. You will typically wait until the next testing window opens again. But 2020 was just a different kind of animal for all of us.
That's a nice option to have if something happens in the course of the year and you're not able to dedicate the time to it that you wanted to. It's
Absolutely.
nice to have that option.
I will say as well, during the test, make sure or after the test, make sure you treat yourself to something, pass or fail. You've been through a lot. Mentally, you've been through a lot. So just that day, have something that you know you would like that you can enjoy after the test. Me, myself, I love food, so I picked a restaurant to go treat myself to. It was great. It was a beautiful day. So just make sure you treat yourself after the test.
I love that advice. Angelica, did you treat yourself when you
I
took the exam?
absolutely did, yes. And that's the same recommendation I give to everyone else. You have put yourself through so much over the last year, 6 months, whatever it has been. You've given it your all. Yes, the ultimate goal is to have those 3 letters at the end of your signature line to proudly show your hard work and dedication. But test anxiety is real, right? And I think I didn't remember how real it was until I sat for my NCP in 2021. And so learning is the ultimate goal. Getting, the knowledge that comes with all of those trainings. If you brought back information that makes you better at your job, even if you just have horrible test anxiety and don't do well in that environment, treat yourself anyways. Plan something. Even if it's dinner, take the rest of the day off. Take that whole entire day off, but give yourself some recovery time. Yes, I did. I ended up having to drive almost 5 hours for a testing facility. So I went the night before, spent the night, found the testing facility. I was very close, so I knew exactly where it was. So I wasn't, a hot mess the next morning. I was a hot mess anyways, but not because I didn't know where the testing facility was. And then when I got my results, I decided I was going to treat myself to sushi. And on my way there, I saw that they were opening up an In-N-Out burger in Colorado. Colorado's first. So there was a line there actually, and they were open. And that's what I ended up having was In-N-Out burger for the win.
Yes.
That's on my list. Wonderful treat.
I got to find a state just so I can try an In-N-Out burger. I've never been to one, so I got to go.
It's delicious. Gotta do it. If my first experience was with In-N-Out was California. And so I was asked, how does this compare? And I know it's the same. I know it is 100% the same, but it just didn't taste like California.
It was something in the air.
It was. Yeah. That breeze from the ocean.
Yes.
Well, I will share one of my certification horror stories. This was decades ago when I took the Certified Cash Manager exam for the first time. And I live in Richmond, Virginia, and was all set to take the exam there, and then had an opportunity, I should say, to help my sister move from New York City to Boston. And the arrival in Boston coincided with the week of the exam, so I switched my testing site to Boston. And let me just say, don't ever plan to take a certification exam after you have spent 3 days helping somebody move. Needless to say, I did not pass the exam and had to take it again the next year. So don't do what I did.
Oh, I would be sore from all of that moving. That's a lot. Helping people move is some hard work.
It is. I wouldn't even help myself move.
Like, what moving companies are available? Let me call them right now.
Exactly. Well, when you're in your 20s and don't know any better.
I mean, I may tell somebody that I would go to New York to help them move just to go to New York, but I don't know how helpful I would actually be.
Like, I'll be back. I'm going to you real quick. I'll be back. We moved a lot when we were younger, and so, we were in the military, so the military would come and pack up our houses all the time. So I didn't really know anything about moving until I got on my own, and I'm like, we got to pack all of these boxes on our own. We have to move all of this stuff. People don't come do it for free. They was like, no, you're responsible for all of this. I was like, oh, maybe I should have joined the military then, because they take care of this for you.
Wow, that would be tough to get used to not having that resource available.
Yes.
So Eugene, now back at your institution, you've had this certification now for several years. How have you seen it impact your day-to-day experience at Langley?
I would say it's impacted a lot. I've had people from all departments that know that I have this certification come to me regarding anything with checking. And my VP now, she's told me, we don't expect you to retain all of the information, but we expect you to know where to go to get the information. That's when payments answer line comes in. I got that number memorized. So I'm like, dial this number, option 1. they're gonna help me out. And if I'm not able to speak with somebody at that point, which most of the time I am, they're always calling me back within that day. Here's the answer for you. Give us a call back if you have any questions, or I can send them an email. Here's the response in the email. It's always a quick response. So my job does come to me a lot. I'm trying to recruit other people in Langley to get this certification as well, so more people will have it, but they come to me a lot for information. And I love it.
Wonderful. Angelica, what is the best way for people to find out more about the NCP exam, about the credential, about the preparation resources that ePayResources offers?
The number one thing I would say is use that payments answer line, 1-800-475-0585, option 1. Give us a call. All of our payments professionals that answer those calls are happy to have that discussion with you. We oftentimes, when I get calls about the accreditation, they last about half an hour because we want to talk about all the options and, find out how much experience you have in that specific field. Make sure that you understand how much time of your own personal time and dedication is going to be required to make sure that you are successful in attaining this. Our website, ePayResources.org, has lots of information about each of the accreditations, including NCP, and the ECHO website. ECHO is the facilitator of the exam, so there's additional information out there. We have a course in ePayU called What You Need to Know NCP. And so we've broken down what our program entails, what it looks like for registering for the exam, where to find the fees associated with it when the testing windows are, all about deferring your exam and basically everything that you need. And that's available on ePayU.
Thank you. Thank you both so much for being here with us today and sharing this insight. That was incredible. Eugene, I don't know that I've ever heard a firsthand account of the preparation process and exam day, and really, really appreciate your sharing those details with us. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I would say just once you start the class, everything is new. So expect to learn as much as possible. You're not going to know going into it. I don't think nobody knows everything about checks. I remember day 1 of the class, I went back and told my boss, I was like, we need to get a refund. I was like, this is just too much. She was like, I'm glad that you said that. That means everything is new and you're going to learn a lot. She was like, so this is the perfect class for you. And me not knowing, I'm like, it's so much information, but I was ready to learn it. I was ready and nervous at the same time. And everybody, all the instructors were great. They answered every question in the class. If they didn't know the answer, they would reach out to another professional that they had and say, hey, I will get this answer for you. I just want to make sure I'm not giving you the wrong information. So everybody was helpful in there. They explain everything. They prepare you for the test perfectly. I mean, I couldn't ask for better class instructors to help guide me through getting the NCP certification. It was the greatest experience. I loved it.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
2021, Eugene.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and one more thing. I don't know if y'all can see it because I have my background, but I keep my flashcards with me. They're in arm's reach all the time. So anytime anybody has a question, I'm like, hold on a minute, let me get my flashcards. They're right there. I'll run through them real quick. Here's your answer right here.
Oh, I
Same. I
love it.
still have
So
all of mine from Czech, from AAP, which was 500 years ago, but I still have all of mine too.
I am glad to hear that resource is continuing to provide value even beyond the exam.
Yes, every day. It's really every day.
Well, thank you both so much and look forward to having you back as guests at some point in the future. Eugene, if there's anything payments related you ever want to expound upon, we would love to have you back.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Thank y'all for having me, and I hope I was able to help y'all out.
You were,
Thank you.
Eugene. It was great seeing you again and talking to you.
Yep, nice seeing you too.
Hopefully we'll see you at ePay Connect.
Oh, where's that?
March, we are going to be in Orlando, Florida.
Let me go talk to my boss, see if I can make this happen.
You need those continuing education credits, right?
Yes. I'm gonna go ask now.
I hope to see you there.
Yep, me too.
That's a really good point. Angelica, tell us a little bit about the ongoing continuing education requirements for the NCP credential.
Absolutely. So we've passed our NCP exam, we have our accreditation, and we never, ever, ever want to sit for that exam again. So we have a continuing education requirement. Within 5 years, by the way, you can start earning the same year that you get your accreditation. So if you got your accreditation in April or May of 2023, you can begin earning continuing ed that same year. But for the next 5 years, you have to earn at least 60 continuing education credits. Many ways that you can do that. You can take online courses through ePayU. You can come to our conference, which is ePay Connect, or even Payments University offers continuing education credits. We have other courses like CSI, Check Systems Investigation, that offers continuing education credits. You can speak about checks, and that will offer accreditations. You can write about checks. Many, many ways to earn continuing education credits. You also have to attend 3 NCP workshops during that 5-year period, and those are specific to ECHO. So ECHO puts on usually about 3 or 4 per year, and you need to register for at least 3 of them during that 5-year period. Once you do those, you will go to ECHO's website, and by March of every year, you need to submit your continuing education credits. And then once you've successfully completed all of their requirements, they will send you another certificate letting you know that you're good for the next for those 5 years. It's never over, Anne-Marie.
Well, that's the beauty of it, is that you continue to stay on top of the subject matter and your knowledge evolves as the industry continues to evolve.
Absolutely. We try and learn so much during the training process because we don't know what questions are going to be on our exam, but not all of those things are going to pertain to us on a day-to-day basis. So it's very easy, even though we've studied like crazy, for us to forget some of those bits and pieces that are out there. So continuing education absolutely does help.
And I would say there's plenty of opportunity, plenty of classes for you to get your credits. I've signed up before I knew it. I had 20 credits and didn't realize it. Just signing up for different things. I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. I would run it by my team. They were like, oh, yeah, that is something I think you should learn. So they would sign me up for it. And so there's always something that you can learn, and it's something different that you can learn. And I like the quarterly NCP meetings that we have as well. I can't think of the exact name of it, but I know it's quarterly. Those are great to get involved in as well, and you get credits for those.
I'm glad to hear that the continuing education credits have not been a burden to maintain, that's been easily achievable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Anything else that either of you would like to add?
I just want to say, it can be intimidating. Anything new really is, but there's so many benefits to opening your mind and learning these things, not only for your professional development, but this is what we do, and this is a big part of our lives. And I always want to try and learn as much as possible about the things that I'm involved in. And I learned so much. I had no idea that there was that much to learn about check processing. I was not trained that way at my financial institution. I had been there for 15 years, and all I knew was that customers had 24 hours to tell you if something cleared their account that wasn't supposed to. And if they came in, in 48 hours, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can do for you. And then I started training, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is not true. There was a lot to learn, and I continue to learn every day. Eugene is not the only one that calls the answer line. My number for the answer line is a little bit different. It's Wanda's extension or Michael's extension or Tracy, but we have plenty of NCPs on staff, and so the things that I may not know, we definitely have the staffing that is always willing to help us to get to those answers. So it's worth it. It's all the hard work, all the dedication, all the study time, the personal things that you give up to study for this thing. It's absolutely worth it. I'd do it all over again if I had to.
Yes. And it makes you want more. It makes you like, what else is there? It really does make you want more.
Yes, it absolutely does. You see these initials after my signature, and I hope to continue adding to that as time goes on. I think next up for me is, I love BSA related things. So the same year that I did my NCP, I did my CAMS designation. And I think next year I'm going to do a fraud examiner accreditation, and then maybe faster payments. There's so many out there. Why not? Let's go learn.
Yes. AAP is next for me. I've talked to my supervisor, and she wants a plan for me to take it next year. So it's in the works.
That's awesome. I think you'll love that as well. AAP. I loved AAP as well. It was a lot of fun. It's different than check, so you'll see some differences, but I'm excited for you to go through that journey too, Eugene. I think you'll do great.
Thank you.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that you're already planning the next step, Eugene.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, only because I know it's going to help me help myself out, and it's going to help the credit union as well. It's good to have those type of resources where you work at.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you both so much for being here today and sharing this insight. This was just a terrific conversation. I know our members will appreciate it, whether they're already signed up for an exam or considering it, or like Eugene, considering another one. This was just a terrific conversation. Thank you both so much.
Well, thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks, Anne-Marie.